So many Americans depend on their Social Security as their primary income, as a big piece of their income. That monthly check and the expectation that it'll be there when you retire, it's a foundational thing for literally tens of millions of Americans. Joining us now is Martin O'Malley. He was Social Security Commissioner during the Biden administration. We called him today about these concerns that we learned about this weekend with the acting head of Social Security Administration resigning, apparently in some sort of clash over access to data and systems at the Social Security Administration, access that the people who were demanding it apparently weren't supposed to have. Mr. O'Malley, it's really nice to see you. Thanks for being with us tonight.
Good to be with you again, Rachel. Wish it weren't under these circumstances. So how do you want to unpack this?
Do you know what the Doge group was trying to access at Social Security that would have caused the administrator to resign?
Yeah, I would imagine that they were trying to go after personal identifying information on all of us. I mean, this is an agency that collects a lot of data. Every job we've ever had since our very first job, they keep track of those earnings. And there are a lot of laws in place that protect the privacy of that information. In fact, the very first regulation Social Security ever issued back in 1934 when FDR signed it into being was to promise the American people we would protect their personal identifying information. So one of the things I learned in leading the great men and women of Social Security, who, by the way, are serving more and more customers every day with staffing that House Republicans have reduced to a 50-year low. But one of the things I learned about the culture of the place was that the folks there really take very seriously their duty to protect our personal identifying information. So it does not surprise me at all that Michelle King, who I know very well and who I served with, a woman beyond reproach, a career civil servant who loves the agency and believes in the mission, that she would not allow herself to be an accomplice to any violation of law or the sacred duty that she's been taught her whole life to abide by, which is to protect people's personal identifying information. I mean, that's a fireable offense at the agency. No doubt Michelle, in her role as being the person that oversaw operations when I was Commissioner of Social Security for President Biden, she probably had to dismiss employees for browsing, looking at the personal data of other people. And that was also something that we would, not infrequently refer to the Inspector General for possible criminal prosecution. But now we can't do that because the co-presidents whacked all of them in the first week.
Given the regulatory structure, then the statutory structure that you just described, is this actionable if they've improperly accessed this information? Is that the basis for legal action against anybody who's done it?
Oh, I think so. I mean, these laws came into place, let's keep in mind, after 1974 and the abuse of power in Watergate, which in hindsight looks almost kind of quaint compared to the shredding of the Constitution that we see every day happening by the co-presidents, Musk and Trump. And their utter disregard for laws and norms. So I would think it would be actionable, except for the fact that he controls the FBI and the prosecutorial powers that should bring it to action. But perhaps creative lawyers will find a way to call the question in front of a court. The real threat to this agency and what's going to crater it, though, Rachel, is actually reducing its staff to even lower than the 50-year low that it finds itself in right now. And I don't know if it's their plan to crater it or if they're just so ignorant of how stressed it is that they don't realize they could interrupt benefits. And let's keep in mind, these are lifelines for 72.5 million Americans, and half of all seniors living alone depend entirely on Social Security. So I do believe this will probably be the first beloved program by Americans that these Doge boys break, and they're on their way to doing it by driving people out of the agency.
Only got about a minute left here, Mr. O'Malley, so I'm sorry for that, but I just wanted to get your reaction to the claims by the president's top campaign donor and now today by the president himself that Social Security has millions of fraudulent recipients, millions and millions and millions of fraudulent dollars going out the door every day. What's your reaction to that?
Total horse hockey. There are not like cadavers wandering all around the continental United States with Social Security benefit checks flowing out of their pockets. This is totally untrue. They spew stuff and they throw things because of the nitwit 19-year-olds that don't understand the program or its database or its COBOL technology. And they just spew this stuff. So I say put up or shut up. You know, if you actually have the names of the 1,250-year-old people who are receiving benefits, put them up. They don't have any privacy rights. And so come on.